Hello, people of the internet. My name is Romy, and I'm joined by my colleague,
Pink guy.
and we're gonna get ready for an interesting match between Z9 and Hangzhou Bark.
A lot of things these two teams played last week, and if you were watching the games, these both teams are coming from a loser bracket. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to bring in the table. They did look very versatile when it comes to playing goats in different levels and running a lot of DPS composition. Especially Z9, they pulled out a very good Sombra. We saw a lot of Sombra mechanics, a huge six-man EMPs coming along. Hangzhou Bark, on the other hand, they were really efficient with their grab bombs. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do and how they're going to kind of play around their what they're good at and fix some mistakes. I'm mostly what I'm looking for is if they reviewed the VODs and what they came up with, if anything is different.
Yeah, I'm really interested by Z9's play. It's very Shanghai Dragon reminiscent. You get to see the Sombra out, and the reliance on the Sombra is really strong and really heavy because the EMP is one of those few uncounterable ults, and it really sets up the team fight for the tanks and their DPS lineup.
Yeah, it's really tests the other team's ability to track Sombra and track ultimates. And it's one of the hardest things to do because Overwatch is just so hectic. You're trying to keep track of everything, do well, and on the meantime, you have to also know where the Sombra is, position your healers, and be prepared for the EMP to come. How do you think Hangzhou Bark, knowing that Z9 will be mostly running this Sombra, how do you think they could play around it and do efficiently be consistent as we saw Z9 are the biggest favorites coming into this matchup.
Well, Sombra's specialty is being able to shut off a fight, kind of decapitate it before it starts. So Hangzhou Bark is going to have to really get aggressive here and take the fight to Z9 before the hacks can come out and shut down the tanks.
And that's where I'm very interested because Yusuf is known as a very aggressive Reinhardt player. I'm trying to see how these matches will go on. When these two teams really clash together and play aggressively.
So we're just loading into Lijiang Tower, and where it looks like the first map is going to be Garden. This is a very good map for Summer because she has a lot of rotation space, but at the same time you have to be careful for the environmental kills, and grab bombs might be a bit weaker here because of the nature of the point, the design. The geometry makes it really easy to avoid getting caught into a bomb. So it's going to be up to Hangzhou Bark to land their very precision grabs.
And on top of that, I'm not really sure if they will play the Sombra comp here because last time a lot of teams like to run the 3 DPS comp, and as we talk about it, look at Hangzhou Bark. Oh well, they just flashed it for a little bit, but yeah, they're going for the triple DPS composition, which is very well in this map because there's just so many open space and there's just so many angles you have to do DPS.
And the match is about to go underway. The doors are open, and Hangzhou Bark are rushing to the point. Immediately, we see the Sombra. They're going to get ready. Sombra's going to go out, do a bit of scouting on one hand. Meanwhile, Z9 running Yusuf here on the Reinhardt. Going to take a bit of damage. Fair splash damage coming in from the left side. They're going to try to fight their way onto point. A lot of spam damage coming in. Shield goes low. Meanwhile, Reality is falling a bit low there. He manages to get back up. And Rectophobia manages to have a bit of an accident there, taking him out of the team fight. Hedwig finds a huge pick onto Eggroll, and he finds another pick onto Gagmite. That is 2 picks up. And now it looks like Z9 is just going to have to back up a bit here. It seems like their whole team has been decapitated. Meanwhile, Swanky Turtle actually finds a pick onto a Greed. This is a really scrappy fight here, but Rectophobia is back with another pick onto Yusuf. And it looks like Hangzhou Bark are just cleaning up this point. They have full control of it. Z9 should just a bit back up here and not feed any more ults. Rectophobia with 3 picks actually. Gonna be huge. He's farming up that barrel barrage really quickly. Meanwhile, YOLO God already has EMP. And Hangzhou Bark doing a really good job of just cleaning up the point. And they're gonna take first control here.
Now, personally here, when we look at the Ultimate Economy, Hangzhou Bark is definitely coming out with a better Ultimate Economy just because of the composition itself. Because this triple DPS just excels so well against goats in this, in Lijiang especially, because you could utilize the Pharah really well to like control this bridge right here and make it very hard for the other team to get on.
And the fight comes out there. It's a huge EMP by YOLO God. And Rectophobia follows it up with a key Barrel Barrage. Finds a pick onto the break. YOLO God goes down to the hands of reality. Meanwhile, Agreed is getting a lot of damage and a lot of value off of those bombs. And Hedwig doing his job, taking out Lucio. And looks like it's another one team fight for Hangzhou Bark. Reality manages to find the pick onto Ecology, but doesn't look like he's going to turn the tides of this fight.
And again, same thing. It doesn't matter if you land a 5-man or 6-man EMP. If there's just so much DPS coming from so many angles, it's just really hard for your healers to keep people topped up.
Z9 getting back into this, and it looks like Airroll is going to initiate with the Coalescence. The rally is still online for Z9, but Gagbag actually gets hacked before he can use his bomb. It's up to the Hangzhou Bark to get him out of mech before he can launch it. And Hedwig is just clicking heads one after another. Gagbag actually finds 2 with this Diva Bomb, but is it enough to turn the tides of the fight? Katal manages to find the pick onto the Lucio, and it looks like Z9 is actually going to be able to turn this around. Huge, 80% on the board for Hangzhou Bark. Looks like they're only going to need about 1 team fight, and they should be able to successfully win this round.
Now, that round was really well done from when it came to putting out damage for Z9. They really took the fight to Hangzhou Bark themselves and just initiated really well. Now, what you need to do as a GOAT when you play against this composition, if you're not going to run countering triple DPS, you really need to dive the healers and make sure they get pinned. Even though they're super mobile, you want to run people like Diva, Winston, and really just hunt them down and make them, peel back for their supports or their DPS.
Xenon actually running an interesting variation of these goals. Not having the Zarya means that Yusuf is going to be able to get tracked down as soon as he jumps in. He doesn't have that 200 health Zarya bubble to protect him in the team fight. And looks like the EMP comes out here. Huge hacks onto the members of Hangzhou Bark. But I'm not sure if there's going to be a turnaround. Eggroll knows finds the pick onto Little Pants. Hedwig gets the D-Mech onto Gagbag. The Sneaker Res actually gets canceled last second. This is a really scrappy fight, but it looks like Z9 is going to be able to take this here. Mercy gets hacked and gets cleaned up. Z9 holding on to this point, 60%. Hangzhou Bark only need 1 team fight.
And I don't know if Hangzhou Bark really could initiate right now. We see both of the support ults for Z9 are ready now at this point, so they really need to bait it out. Like, they really need to use the barrage or something to bait out one of the support ults so they could fully initiate when it's time for them to get the point.
Diva Bomb goes in, doesn't find anything. Looks like Gagbag manages to get hacked once again. Agreed on the hammer gets hacked. It's huge value there on the hack. It means that Agreed is not going to be able to go around and get a lot of CC off. Gagbag gets the environmental onto Little Pants. And they're just going to have to back up. They after dropping the mines. This is a bit sloppy here from Hangzhou Bark. They're going to need to reset, but they don't have the time. It's up to 99%. Z9 have successfully flipped this point. And the EMP comes out to counter the sound barrier. It's going to be huge because Z9 is going to be able to just clean up the point. Gagbag finding 3 picks, and it looks like that is the first round going to Z9.
And another interesting fight. Now, if you're Hangzhou Bark at this point, and you're running the Sombra with the triple DPS comp, you usually don't see this. Because, Sombra really doesn't find a lot of value when it comes to triple DPS or quad DPS. Because the composition is just so hectic. It's really hard to even, hack somebody and just, jump on them. Because it's mostly Pharah who's doing a lot of damage. And, even though Pharah does a lot of damage, especially if he hits direct rockets, it's not as consistent to burn a person down. Now, what they need to do is hack the Diva. Hangzhou Bark needs to hack, Gagbag or Yusuf as much as possible and to just really abuse this Sombra ability. if they're going to run this composition.
We're going to see the teams go in here. Not quite a mirror combo. Both teams running goats. Z9 running the Sombra instead of the Diva. And Hangzhou Bark running simple Zen goats. Yusuf is going to get pushed off the point. A lot of CC, a lot of damage coming in. You don't want to get knocked off here. Yusuf actually finds the pick onto Rectophobia, and he doesn't find anything with the charge. Meanwhile, Agreed finds the 5-strike kill onto Swaggy Turtle. It's a bit of a hectic fight. The shield's dropping low. Yusuf gets burned down by Ecology, and it looks like Hangzhou Bark is 2 up in this fight. The Shatter comes out really early on. Finds 2, doesn't quite find the damage needed to take down Gagbag. Gagbag is going to be able to get this Zario online. And the fight is still going on, despite the fact that Hangzhou Bark has taken the points. Are they going to be able to get the Rhine there? The boop comes out onto the Rhine. This is a huge opening for Z9 here. The grab comes out onto Gagbag. He's going to get melted down. The Diva Bomb follows up. Doesn't quite find anything. The Brick Shield and the Zarya Bubble manages to prevent any damage and any kills from coming through. And Z9 just needs to back up at this point. They need to cut their losses short before things get too bad for them.
Now, it's a really consistent stat when it comes to Z9 and fighting. Yusuf, a lot of time, he falls short and he dies first. Now, if you're going to play GOATs, you have to be very careful because Ryan is the key and the backbone of GOATs.
Huge EMP comes out there. Yusuf is going to be able to get an easy shatter. Nothing to worry about there. No shields, no stuns, no abilities can come online for 6 seconds when the EMP comes out. And Reality manages to find 2. This should just be an easy team fight for Z9.
And just like how I was talking about, Yusuf needs to stay alive in these conditions. You know, when things go wrong, his team really needs to pull up and, you know, help him, give him all the resource he needs. Because once he falls, that's it. That's it for GOATs. And a lot of time, they need to reset at this point.
Now, Yusuf is going to be getting a bit of aggression there, get some ult charge. He's 61% on his ult. Meanwhile, Agreed gets attacked. He can't use his shatter for a few seconds. But Yusuf has to be aware that the fact that he has to shatter in the first place. If a shatter comes out here, it's huge. And it looks like all of Z9 is just going to get rolled over there. The pin comes out. Manages to pin this Zenyatta. He's in trance, so he's not going to go down. But looks like Agreed is just going to make so much space for his team. So much space for Hangzhou Bark that they're just going to be able to take the point. Meanwhile, they farm their ults.
And that was a very good play by Z9. They backed off as soon as Yusuf died. They realized that they were higher in the ultimate economy, so they could just come back, just take a clean fight, and just take the point straight on.
So the huge EMP followed up here by Reality. Doesn't manage to catch his end. The trance comes out. However, Gagbag is not having any of it. He finds 2 picks. Yusuf has a shatter here. Is he going to use it? It doesn't look like it's necessary because Gagbag and Eggroll are just finding all the picks necessary.
And that's what I was talking about. They just need to, you know, do a tactical reset as soon as Yusuf drops low or even is in a threat of dying. Because once Yusuf is gone, they just can't do anything. Just like the last fight, they took the shatter from the other team. They backed off. Yusuf came back. He shattered. They EMP'd and they kept almost of their own.
Now the grab comes out here. Yusuf is going to get some cleave damage in there. He has the shatter to stop their push, and it's huge. It finds everybody. He doesn't even need an EMP to drop everybody on the floor. Now it looks like Eggroll Nerd, Yusuf finds 2 picks, and they're just gonna get a decisive team fight win against Hangzhou Bark. They're gonna push them back to their spawn even. They're gonna have to back up here before they get picked off.
Yes, they cannot manage to get picked off right in because Hangzhou really needs only 1 team fight to get this point.
Anyways, now I've noticed that a lot of these team fights have been won pretty decisively. That might have been with the help of Sombra. 1 good ult, and then... Oh, speaking of ults, Hedwig comes out with a huge grab. The Transcendence manages to prevent any deaths coming out here. Agreed, not falling just yet. He has a shatter. It's gonna go in. The bomb finds Swaggy Turtle. That might just be all they need. Yusuf finds 2 picks into the graviton. Hedwig managed to find a pick onto his counter Gagbag. Meanwhile, Yusuf is just on the point. He's just getting a bunch of damages. He finds a shatter. He's gonna demech the Diva here. He's managed gonna finish off YOLO God and Little Pants. And Yusuf putting the team on his back a bit there, just getting a lot of cleave damage.
And this is definitely an improvement we're seeing from last week's match, where Yusuf was playing super aggressively, which is very good because Reinhardts do get to make a lot of plays, but he was just not on sync with his team.
Let's just get a replay here of Agreed's performance on the Hammond. It was actually pretty spectacular. He made a lot of space for his team, and it looks like Hangzhou Bark did a really good job of playing around that. Finds 2 environmental kills.
Well, like I said, they were looking. Hangzhou Bark really looked, very dominant on that triple DPS comp. Like they were so dominant. If only they didn't run that Sombra, and if they did, the Hex had to be on the bigger targets. You can't just hack a Lucio or one of the, let's say, Zen, and expect your team to kill, because there's just not enough damage getting put in constantly to get this kill. So what you should be doing is to hack the Diva, farm him as much as possible, hack the Ryan, let your Hammond make as much space as possible, and then just build ult. It's just an ult building composition against the goats.
Now, a bit of what I noticed was that almost all of the team fights were over pretty quickly. There were some scrappy ones where a bit back and forth, but a lot of the team fights were kind of over in an instant. And I think that's because of the use of ultimates. Ultimates are team fight deciders and team fight swingers. So it's really important to be able to track the ultimates and counter them. And what Pink Guy said before, it's also really important when you're running the Sombra to bait out ultimates such as Sound Barrier, because the EMP can counter that and make your team fight win that much easier because they won't have the ult for the next fight.
A lot of pro teams that use Sombra compositions, what they like to do, they would usually initially grab and bait out the trance, and then shatter, bait out the sound barrier, and the moment the sound barrier comes out, they EMP. Cancel out the sound barrier, just go all in, and finish off their team.
That way, not only do you just win the team fight, but you cut off their resources for the next team fight, which is actually a lot more crucial than just winning a fight, because anybody can win a fight mechanically. Raw aim, maybe some outplaying of the opponent can be really crucial to winning a team fight. However, if you manage to hit them where it hurts, and that's the ultimate economy, that's going to be a bigger win.
What do you think Hangzhou really needs to reconsider first?
Well, I saw that they did a good job of being able to get the damage off. Hedwig was actually performing spectacularly on the Widow, so maybe a bit more play around him could enable Hangzhou Bark to kind of open up wounds in Z9's team composition. Z9, see, when I look at Z9 as a team, I see a bit of a mix between Shanghai Dragons and Vancouver Titans. You get to see the chaotic goat style, the aggression on the main tank from Vancouver Titans. However, you get to see the heavy use of the Sombra, just like Shanghai Dragons did, and it kind of creates this happy little medium where they can get the aggression on the Reinhardt, find the damage, build in his ult charge, and they also have the hacks to come out to make his ult like that much more consistent. A hack on the Ryan means that they don't have any shield to block the shatter.
Now, a lot of work coming for both teammates here. A lot of teammates, doing what they could. Now, what I really want to highlight is Gagbag Zarya. He's just staying up on energy so much. Even when the fight is lost, he's building ultimates left and right, and it's working out perfectly for Z9, because that instant charging up the grab so fast really allows them to play aggressively. And I think the bubble timing on Yusuf were definitely much better than the last games, and they're much more precise when the Brig is trying to be more aggressive on Yusuf. The bubble is really preventing them.
Yeah, Gagbag on the Zara was actually a high value pick there, because it means that he's able to get a lot of damage off onto the Diva, and that means he's going to be able to farm his Graviton up really quickly. And looks like our next map is going to be Hanamura. Going to go in. It's a 2 CP, which means it could be really strong here on the Sombra pick, because the hacks coming in is going to make it really easy to push the first point. Now, let's see what the two teams decide to run here. Our prediction is that Z9 is going to be able to run the Sombra comp here, whereas maybe Hangzhou Bark is going to run a more DPS heavy lineup. Hedwig performing last round on the Widowmaker was actually really spectacular. I'm a bit surprised that they didn't win that. that they didn't win that point. And it looks like the teams are gonna come out here really strong. Yusuf on their main tank, Reinhardt again, and they're just gonna stick to what they know. It works out. It worked before, and it'll work again. Don't fix what's not broken. It's like they're just gonna go into a simple defensive lineup here. It's gonna be really important for that Sombra to get the initial hack onto the Reinhardt because it's gonna make Hangzhou Bark's push that much harder.
Now, how do you think Z9 Bulls, should play against this Oh, I thought they were running bunker comp on, attack. So I was going to say, how do you think Z9 will play against the bunker comp? But let's get through this game. Let's see what Hangzhou Bark brings to the table with this attack in Hanamo.
Yusuf actually finding a 36% on his ult charge off the initial fire strike on the spawn door because that's going to be huge. It's going to mean that he's going to have that much more of an advantage in the ult economy. And let's see, he's going to get some cleave damage in here. He's falling a bit low. He's going to need some support from his team. He's going to go in there. The Zarya bubbles come out on for both friendly and personal. And Yusuf gets stunned here. He's falling a bit low once again. The support is there. That's what Ghost about. The shield drop, but the Zarya bubble is there. And it looks like Yusuf is falling a bit low. Meanwhile, Gangbang finds the actual pick onto Agreed. And Eggroll Nerd is going to find the pick onto Lil Pants. That's just the 1-2 fight right there.
And Hangzhou Bark needs to back out as soon as possible so they don't feed unnecessary ultimate charge. And that was really good play by Z9, and we've seen this even, last week's match where the teams would try to separate or isolate Yusuf from his team and just kind of run him down. This time, they tried this tactic and it kind of backfired. The team really put all the resources they can on Yusuf and kind of just got agreed.
Early grab coming out here from Z9. And Gagbag, once again, another 2 picks. Being able to cut off Hangzhou Bark's team fight real early means that they're going to have to go back to the spawn room. And finding those picks before they get back to the safety of the spawn room is going to be really huge.
And this is just looking like a very bad position for Hangzhou Bark right now. They barely have any ultimates on the board. And Z9 are doing a very good job of cycling ultimates. What you want to do, you want to shatter, then help Zarya build grab, and Zarya wants to grab, so the Yusuf gets more charge towards shatter.
Yeah, the name of the game right here is gonna be to get the huge shatter from Yusuf, being able to shut down Hangzhou Bark's push once again. It's a bit of a mind game of Ryan's here because Agreed also has a shatter online. So whoever gets the biggest shatter is going to be huge. The rally comes out by Rectophobia and it's going to allow Hangzhou Bark to push. And a huge 6-man EMP comes out here by Reality. And it's going to make it real easy for Yusuf to just slam the ground, get everybody on the floor, and find the necessary picks. He don't manage to kill everybody, but he manages to send them all back to the spawn room.
Now, I don't know if the shatter was really the best choice right there because now Agreed it has a much better value than Yusuf does at this point because of the shatter.
It looks like Vital falls into the Graviton, and a huge 3-man bomb by YOLO God, following off the back of Hedwig's grab, and looks like Hangzhou Bark is going to be able to take point A without too much resistance here. It took them about like 4 tries, however they managed to get it right. 4 times the charm.
And just like I predicted, you really didn't need that shatter after the 6-man EMP. The main reason for the EMP was to shut down their push with the rally, and that served its purpose. But Yusuf blowing the shatter on them while they were just retreating, it just gave Agreed a much better value coming into the next fight.
Agreed get attacked here at the start of the team fight. He's going to have to fall back a bit. And looks like he's going to initiate this fight with the shatter. He's going to get really aggressive. He finds 2. He finds actually 3, but the sound barrier comes out. There's no damage to follow up on it because they all got grabbed in that hallway. YOLO God loses his mech. Meanwhile, Agreed is getting really aggressive here. He's going to take the fight to Z9. Even though they're losing bodies, he's gaining ult charge.
He needs to get back to the point right now. This is a suicide mission, and he's trying to build as much as charge possible, but it's just not worth giving Z9 all the ultimate charge they can because now Yusuf has his ultimate coming in where Agreed is only 50% coming into this. You really have to pay attention to these Earth Shatter ultimate charges or just in ultimate charges in general when it comes to goats. They even have EMP ready. Now what Hangzhou Bark really needs to do here, they need to kind of get aggressive to bait out EMP and just fall back. Retreat as soon as possible. Little Pants cannot get caught by this.
and Greed manages to get hacked there and stunned at the start of the team fight. It's gonna be really easy to pick off. He's right in front of everybody without a shield and without any movement because he gets stunned. And Yusef is just gonna clean up the bodies. Z9 is gonna send them all back to the spawn room once again. And what I noticed here is a big mismatch in terms of ult economy here. Yusef, if he was tracking, if they were tracking their ults, Yusef could have used Shatter there and been able to build it up by around the same time as Agreed. However, we didn't really see that, and now Agreed is going to be able to get a Shatter online while Yusef has a Shatter.
And even Yusuf has Shatter, they could really turn this around with a good chance from Eggroll Nerd. Now this is coming in. Hedwig is building an ultimate.
The Shatter gets blocked from Yusef. Meanwhile, the grab comes out, manages to hang them all in that hallway, but the counter grab comes out by Hedwig, and the Diva Bomb is going to not show itself until right now. It's landed right on point, finds the pick onto Swaggy Turtle. That's going to be huge for Hangzhou Bark. They're just going to storm onto the point. The EMP and the Shatter, perfect timing, synchronization coming out here. Yusuf finds the pick onto the Zarya. He's going to be able to cut off the Diva. Will Diva be able to bring him down? The Diva mech is really low here. Greed falls back down to help out his Diva, but I'm not sure if Hangzhou Bark is going to be able to take this point. It's the nature of 2 CP to be able to stop it. And he gets Gagbag off the map. Even though they lost the team fight, he manages to reset Gagbag's Zarya charge to 0.
Yes, and just like we're talking about, if you look at these support ultimate, it's really a huge shame that it's a mismatch for when it comes to support ultimate. Now, if Agreed wants to win this point, he needs to catch the Lucio in this ultimate. This Shatter cannot get countered because they don't have much time on the clock. If they lose this fight, the Team Z9 is just going to get so much ultimate advantage. It's just going to be very hard for them to reset this and come back alive.
And the Shatter comes out and it doesn't find much. Agreed falls a bit low, and another 6-man EMP by Reality. He's putting in work for his team there. And the Hangzhou Bark just don't have an answer for the Sombra. He's finding big EMP after big EMP.
And you really need to track the Sombra. When you're playing against the Sombra Goat, the main thing is you need to track the Sombra. And you have to bait out the Sombra's hack or the EMP before you blow sound barrier. Because as you know, when you sound barrier and there's an EMP comes out, it completely reverts the ultimate. So you don't want to do that until you see the EMP come out.
And the hack comes out onto Agreed. He won't have an answer for it. The Shatter from Yusuf finds the pick, finds the drop onto YOLO God, but they're not going to be able to finish him off and get him out of mag. Agreed falling a bit low, Swaggy Turtle finishes the kill. Meanwhile, Z9 is going to be able to find hack after hack. And Hangzhou Bark just, once again, they don't have a response to this.
In this point, you really need to run as, let's say, a hard CC. But the only person who is really could do any hard CC is Rectophobia right now on the team for Team Hangzhou Bark, and Rectophobia really needs to stay with the Reinhardt, just in case anybody tried to get any aggression onto the Reinhardt. He needs to stop this with that huge run block. There's a huge EMP coming through, and Reality is looking for this. He's kill hungry.
It's really important that he gets the Zen here on this EMP. He's not gonna find anybody yet. He's gonna go for it, and he finds 3. Rectophobia immediately goes down. Ecology doesn't manage to get caught in the EMP. He's gonna have the chance to save the remnants of his team. The grab comes out to follow up. Yusuf finding the pick. Gagback finding the pick. The huge bomb comes out. Doesn't find anybody but Eggroll, and it looks like it's in overtime. However, Hangzhou Bark is not gonna be able to finish this map. Now, if I was Z9, what I would have done was I would have scouted the Sombra's positioning, where she's set up, where's the translocator, because Sombras have a habit of putting it in the same recurring place, and then I'd push the opposite side from it. That way, she's going to have to put herself in a bit more of a dangerous position to be able to reach the hack. We saw that Reality was set up on that top right, that high ground there that's almost inaccessible. So it would be better if Hangzhou Bark made a more aggressive push into the top right. That way they wouldn't be able to find the hack so easily.
Now, when it comes to hacking like this, like I said, the main thing that has to be done, ult tracking. You need to be on point with the ult tracking. Just by a team's movement, you could tell whether Sombra is trying to look for an EMP or not. And the easiest thing ever, press tab, look who's at fire. You could just tell a lot by these small things. Who has ultimate, who is not. And in this case, they really need to track the Sombra's ultimate, because if Hangzhou Bark doesn't give a response against the Sombra goats, then I don't think they could take this series anytime soon.
It's also really important to have somebody scouting out that diva constantly. There were a few moments where reality should have gotten spotted, kind of brushes past the members of Hangzhou Bark, and there wasn't a detect from Hangzhou.
One of the things the pro teams like to do when a team runs a Sombra goat, the opposing team diva never lets go of his left click, because diva has ultimate unlimited ammo, and her spread is so well you can just look around and just spot Sombra very easy.
Agreed manages to get hacked there right after he puts on the bubble. He falls a bit low, but it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to finish him off. We're going to get a first-hand look on Yusuf, see what he's doing there, getting a bit aggressive here, get a lot of cleave damage. There's a lot of tanks in front of him, and there's not enough damage to melt him quick enough, so he can just have a field day swinging. Already at 50% ult, Hedwig gets hacked, Yolo God falls low, he's out of mech a bit, and he's effectively out of the fight. Yusuf's going to have to fall back here. He drops a bit low. Is the support going to come in time for him? Nope, because Baby Diva, Yolo God, cannot underestimate the power of the Bunny Blaster. And Hangzhou Bark actually being able to hold this fight here. Gagbag manages to actually get 90% on his Graviton, which is going to be huge. However, he's tied up with Hedwig in terms of ultimate economy.
Now, what happened in this team fight? It was looking like Z9 would for sure take the point, but the rally timing was perfect, where they kept YOLO God and Hedwig alive enough for Agreed to join the fight and just turn it around.
And Agreed getting really aggressive there onto Eggroll Nerd, and he manages to find the pick onto him after he gets hacked, and it's another decisive team fight for Hangzhou Bark there.
Definitely a lot of team fights won, but since they've been so quick, when it comes to Hangzhou Bark, their support line really didn't get to build any ult. Now they do not have an answer for this EMP coming up.
Yeah, one of the ways to win a team fight is a bit of an arms race. Get your ults up before the other team, or have ults when the other team doesn't, and just use all of them to decisively win. And we're gonna see that here from Z9 as they run into this fight with 5 ults. This is gonna be huge. A lot of particle effects. The Primal Rage comes out here, but the bomb gets shoved into the room, and he manages to find a pick on the Swag Turtle. That's gonna be huge. He didn't have his sound barrier to save himself or his team, but he's the only one that falls down. Another 6-man EMP by Reality and a grab from Gagbag. And Yusuf is just gonna be able to swing, and get all the kills necessary.
Now you would think Hangzhou Bark would realize what they're doing wrong at this point. They're constantly using sound barrier before EMP comes out, or they even scout out the Sombra. That's just such a big mistake they're making at this point, because basically what happens is that not only they get a huge EMP, but they just cancel out an ultimate for free.
Yeah, the ultimate gets cancelled here. Yusuf is gonna fall a bit low. He's full charge. He's going on to the point. Finds actually 2 stuns there with that shatter. Little Pants goes down early. He's gonna have time to come back because it looks like Xena is not finding the kill decisively enough. Oh, but actually, as I say that, Yusuf finds 2 picks. Katal finds the pick onto Ecology. They don't have a main support to keep them alive. Meanwhile, Agreed is just gonna have to get backed off a point, and Z9 takes a second map without too much resistance onto that second point.
And I know what Hangzhou Bark was really trying to do. They realized that Z9 is not running a diva, so they wanted to run on a goats to just abuse this bad nade. But what happened was that it really backfired, because Ana is one of the easiest supports to be harassed by Sombra. The moment the hack gets off, Ana has literally nothing to do. No sleep dart, no bionic getting for himself.
Yeah, Z9 taking full advantage of that Sombra. Being able to go invisible, sneak behind the enemy, and find the key hack, shutting down all of their abilities for 6 seconds, is such a huge tool that Z9 is doing an amazing job of taking advantage of. They see what's in front of them, and they're utilizing it. Meanwhile, Hangzhou Bark, not quite find the answer just yet. However, they're down by 2. It's still possible for them to come back from this. They just need to assess the situation, and be able to react quickly to that Sombra and find the way around the hacks.
Now, I don't know if everybody saw the recent playoff match in the Overwatch, Overwatch League against Shanghai Dragons and San Francisco Shock. They did something very unique. They opened up the map with the goats, but with Hog. So every single time, their Sombra, Shanghai Dragon Sombra player, when visible, he would just hook him and just delete him right away. That's one of the ways to counter a Sombra map or a Sombra composition, just by running these long range, stuns or just hard stuns that you could use to just delete the Sombra before she gets even any ultimate charge. But at this point, Hangzhou Bark are just really going at the fight with the same mentality, with no change, no reaction. They're trying the same thing over and over again without assessing, their environment or what's going on around them. I would say the best thing they could do right now is do more scouting. Diva needs to do a lot more scouting. She has to just keep holding her left click at this point. You have infinite ammo, you have a great spread, just click everywhere.
And eventually you'll find the Sombra. Now, looks like Hangzhou Bark. It may seem a bit scary to put another character into Goat's composition, because on paper, Goat's comp may seem like close to perfect. You don't have much range, but you have the speed to compensate for that. You don't need range if you can just roll onto them with a bunch of high health tanks to do your damage, and you have a bunch of heals to keep them alive.
Now we're moving into one of my favorite maps in Overwatch, Eichenwald. Now I love Eichenwald because of how many times good, teams that have really good Pharah players, they could really abuse this Pharah in this map. It's just so many sightlines, so many bridges, so many, environmental kills that could come through for Lucios and Pharahs. So I'm really excited to see if Hangzhou Bark will go back to their triple DPS, maybe trunker out the Samba for a diva or maybe a more mobile character, and see if they could do something here against this unbreakable Z9's, unbreakable goats.
Yeah, Eichenwald might have one of the highest elevations of all the maps in Overwatch, so it should be really important for Farah to be able to take advantage of that and fly really high without using too many resources, too many fuel. However, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Because Eichenwald has so much elevation, it means that the opposing team is going to be able to match that high ground and kind of lower the gap between the Pharah and her opposition. We're gonna get into this game here and let's see what we can see.
Now, Hangzhou Bark has a really good chance coming into this game with this map. Now, a lot of pro teams don't like to run Sombra in this map because it's just how open wide it is. It's really hard for Sombra to get up close, do damage, or hack people just because of how open it is and how much visual there is for each team. Now, Hangzhou Bark really needs to do some good scouting for the Sombra, and they could really spot him out. If they could spot him out every fight or so, right beforehand, they force out his translocator. She has to go back. Reality has to go back. And that's the time where you want to push in with your speed boost and really just abuse Z9 at their highest peak. Because, Z9 is very reluctant and very, let's say, very dependent on this EMP. So if they could just non-stop keep reality unchecked and prevent the EMPs coming through or even any poke damage, they could just go in and just run through the team without the Sombra.
Yeah, you don't really have to kill the Sombra to shut down their value, because all you really need to do is keep the constant pressure on her. She won't be able to find an opening to get some poke damage to charge her ult. Now, speaking of Eichenwald, a hack onto the attacking team is going to be really easy to counter because there's so many sightlines to go. How do we find an early pick onto reality? It's going to be huge. That means that the Hangzhou Bark can go into this into a 6v5. A huge advantage. Rectophobia, we're seeing here, he used to be on break, now he's on fire, and he's raining down damage from above. He's getting a bit of a mercy pocket. Ecology is doing a good job of making sure he stays up, and Rectophobia is just, unanswered right now. He's just farming his ultimate. Looks like Reality is gonna try to find the hack onto Rectophobia, and he does. Gonna bring him right down to the ground, keep him down to Reality, pun intended. And doesn't look like Rectophobia is gonna go airborne once again, but the rest comes out, not checked. Meanwhile, Z9 is gonna be able to just kill the rest of the team. We don't have to answer your Sombra if you can just kill the other 4 members of your team.
Again, like I said, they're really not going to get any value out of this Sombra into this third 3 DPS composition, because you could just run so many more things like Tracer or so many other players just to harass and just farm ultimate. This Sombra, what they're really going to do is that just try to hack and harass Yusuf, but it's going to be really hard for him to do that because the moment he goes visible, he will just get stunned. At this point, they're better off getting a Diva instead of the Sombra. In this point, just to block as much as damage possible coming from Egnor Rudu's or Zarya's grab.
In the meantime, Yusuf invests in ult there. Meanwhile, Hagler finds 2 picks. Gagbag manages to find the picks. However, I'm not sure if Yusuf's use of an Earthshadow was the best. However, they already won the fight. The loss isn't that bad. Yusuf gonna be able to rejoin the rest of C9 before I think get too hectic. And I actually agreed, as I say that, bit of a Caster's curse. Swaggy Turtle just gets squished by the slam. Yusuf manages to come back to the fight. Meanwhile, Reality finds a huge team EMP, and Agreed just can't get out. When Ham attacked, he can't go into ball form, so he has less mobility. His head hitbox to expose. Gagbag taking full advantage of that, getting up to 50% on his Graviton once again.
Now, Team Hangzhou Bark really needs to think how they're going to use this ultimate economy that they have. It's a very well ultimate economy, and they could win this fight definitely with this, but they have to be very careful how they use it. They cannot use High Noon in the open. They will be open.
The High Noon comes out there, but the EMP comes out afterwards. Yusuf getting double hacked, gets brought real low by the hands of YOLO God, and I'm not sure which way this fight's going. Ecology finds the res onto Rectophobia, and Rectophobia's gonna fly up and take down Yusuf, saying, "You resed me for a reason." The Graviton comes out here by Gagbag, but I'm not sure if there's enough damage to follow it up. Gagbag's high charge, he actually finds 2 picks. He's gonna fall a bit low. He has the bubble for himself, but I'm not sure he has the support to keep him up. YOLO got dropping a bit low. High charge Zarya. The supports are there. Hedwig finds the pick onto Gagbag, doing a lot of damage. Doesn't matter what DPS character this guy is on. He's gonna find the kills. Reality finds the pick onto a creep. And this fight is so very back and forth. The support line is on the point. However, I'm not sure if the damage is enough as Yusuf comes back on with Winston. They're just gonna have to deal with the 500 health ape right there. And they don't have an answer for it.
And they did take 2 ticks in that very scrappy fight. Now they only have about 20 seconds to get back to the point and actually take 1 tick.
Hedwig is gonna find some opening damage. He's really close to his pulse bomb. Let's see if he can find it. Reality coming up here with the EMP. And the EMP comes out. Hedwig is hacked. He's a 150 health, like, super vulnerable target. Swaggy Turtle finds the pick. Reality finds 2. Quatal finds a pick onto YOLO God. And it looks like this is a really quick shutdown here, as Agreed is gonna fall back and get picked off. 2 ticks here taken by Hangzhou Bark, but they just don't quite find the third to get that payload moving.
They really need to answer the Sombra. I cannot stress this enough. If you're going to run this third composition, 3 DPS composition, I mentioned that you cannot run Sombra. You could try, but you're just not going to get as much as value as if you ran a Tracer or something like a Diva. Because the name of this game, when you're running triple DPS composition, is mobility. You have to be super mobile, and you have to dive the targets when Hammond uses his pile driver. But with Sombra, it really doesn't get any value. What are you going to do? Hack somebody while they're in pile driver? That's it. Only 1 person hack, and then the rest of the damage is not here.
Yeah, they weren't really playing split enough. When you're playing a high DPS comp, you kind of want to be like a swarm of bees or like a feeding frenzy of piranhas and just kind of go in and out like just a huge swarm and get them caught up. That way EMPs won't be able to find as much value. Now, honestly, if I was Hangzhou Bark and I was constantly running into this Sombra problem here, I would have 1 or 2 people invested just for scouting out the Sombra, or have a very stunned heavy lineup. You want to have Reality scared out of his boots to go visible again. You don't want him to show up and get stunned.
Now we're looking at some interesting composition. Hangzhou Bark is actually playing a 2-2-2. And we might see this.
Looks like they're going for a bit of a Reddit strat there. And if you're not familiar, you put the wall onto that building, you put the TP, and you have your team speed across. Looks like it didn't work the first try, but it looks like they're going to go for a second attempt. Wasted a bit of time here, but they're having a lot of fun. The wall second attempt wasn't quite successful because the teleport doesn't go up on it, and I'm just going to abandon this whole strategy. It would have been real interesting to see.
Yes, a lot of people in Reddit there's a lot of clips of this doing, and it's a very good strat actually. You just speed over the wall, just kind of take the team by its head, and just, win the point by surprise.
Now it looks like Z9 is running a very spam heavy composition here, but wait, no, my bad. Hangzhou Bark is running a bit of a spam heavy composition here. Rectophobia coming up really close onto his Riptire. Rectophobia finds the pick onto Reality. Rewild Heightwig finds the pick onto their Lucio. And Quetal is going to go down to a Greed. And it looks like Hangzhou Bark is going to be able to just find the kills and put Z9 back in their spawn.
And I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Hangzhou Bark here. They realized that, hey, Z9 is running no Diva, so why not just spam them to death before they could even come to the point? And that's a very good way of dealing with the Sombra composition, because it's usually the Diva players who play the Sombra, so they have to sacrifice Diva, which is one of the best characters in the game actually, just because of how much they negate.
Looks like the Riptide is going to come in here. He's going to find 2 immediately. Looks like Z9 is not going to have a push from there after the Riptide. Now, about what you were saying about Hangzhou Bark's team composition, it's actually really powerful. If you don't have a Diva to constantly spam down a few lanes and get a bit of damage to reveal the Sombra, why not just have a lot of DPS spamming down all of her possible routes? You have Riptide, you have Junkrat bombs and McCree stuns, making it really hard for Reality to find a route to take on the Sombra here. Now it looks like Agreed is going to have the Earthshatter to come in here, but he gets picked off early by Gangbang. The EMP follows up. Yusef with like a Hail Mary Earthshatter, kind of like slam dunk right on top of the Graviton. He gets caught in the grab himself, but it looks like they don't have enough damage to follow it up. Look, Z9 is getting really aggressive here. They're going to finish off the rest of Hangzhou Bark. A bit of tactical crouching by Yusuf if you manage to catch that. And looks like Z9 is going to be able to take the series so far, 3-0.
Well, they ran the Junkrat and just gave all the the charge to Gagbag. He was just supposed to get so much charge then, just so much damage, just burn down, Agree's shield, and there's just nothing they could do. There's nothing they could do to really prevent it.
Yeah, as we saw, Z9, the name of the game there was just managing to get the Graviton and the EMP online. Meanwhile, looks like Hangzhou Bark, they weren't thinking that far ahead. The Junkrat spam was a really good call, being able to get a lot of damage before they can fully push in. However, if you have a constantly high charge Zarya, eventually she's going to get a grab, and then what are you going to do then? You don't have an answer for it. And looks like Xenon did exactly that. They got the grab, they got the EMP, and they did a good job of just sweeping Hangzhou Bark right there on that first point.
You know what would have been better is if instead of running the Junkrat, they ran the Pharah. If you just ran the Pharah McCree composition, right? Pharah just stays all the way back with Mercy, spamming down damage boosted rockets, doing so much damage as they come into the lane. And just McCree just deal with Sombra. As soon as she comes visible, flashbang, headshot.
At least that way, Pharah and Mercy possibly would have a chance of avoiding the Graviton and the EMP. And we all know how devastating a Rocket Barrage can be, especially when it's damage boosted. Saving team fights so many times. And it looks like our next map may just be Rialto, a payload map. Really strong here for Ghost composition. So let's just see how Hangzhou Bark takes advantage of that.
Well, as we're talking, with the last match going towards Z9, they took this game, they took this match, they won this match. Now this last match, Hangzhou Bark really needs to win this for map score, because at this point, Hangzhou Bark only has one map score in their lineup, so they really need to win this to keep something at least there, keep some dignity.
Yeah, the last thing you want to get is a 4-0 sweep. That's not going to look good. It's going to be really hard to look back and review that. Now, let's just see how the team are going to find an answer for this Sombra here. Looks like YOLO God is going to run the soldier, or is that just a meme pick before the action starts? This is a map that's really strong for goats. However, with a lot of long south lines, it's going to be really good for a Widowmaker. Being able to find the damage off in a position where it's going to be really hard to reach. If a Summer wanted to reach a Widow, she'd have to go all the way around, almost abandoning her team, just to find the pick onto the Widow, who may actually have a Brig supporting her.
And we seen what Hedwig could do in Lijiang Tower. He was clicking his left and right. So I'm really excited to see how Hedwig does here. And just as we said, goats.
Yep, looks like the teams are going to run goats here. And it looks like Swaggy Turtle found a huge move there onto YOLO God, easily cutting off the most valuable member of the team, the Diva there. They have no kind of damage mitigation at this point. And Kotal finds the pick onto a Greed. And that was a really good set play there by Hangzhou Bark, shutting them down. I mean, Z9 shutting them down pretty early.
You know, as much as I'll love to see this Widow would actually be kind of pointless running into goats because of just how much health pool and shield there is.
Yeah, the headshot wouldn't be able to find the instant kill on half of the team members. So it's going to be up to Yusuf here. He's 63% on his ult. He's going to have to try to find a huge shot there to stop down the aggressive push here from Hangzhou Bark. He's dipping in and out of cover. He's at 73%. He's almost there. Shield's low. And the huge EMP comes up by Reality. Another one. He's going to get really aggressive. He has an Earth Chat. He's going to follow it up. He doesn't care if there's a Trance in the way. He's going to have his team out, get the damage off. Trance only does 300 heals a second. But with a full team shooting at somebody, it's going to be even more damage than that. And Yusuf following up a lot of aggression, a lot of swings onto the grab. He's already 50% onto his next shatter. 70% actually. It's going to be huge ult gain by Yusuf here.
Now, what I want to mention here, that was just a really big mistake from Hangzhou Bark coming in. Because if you get EMP, you know, at least a 5-man EMP, when you're that close to point, you should not be burning any support ultimate. You let them get the kill, back off, come back with a better ultimate.
And Yusuf blocks a shatter here. The grab bomb comes out, finds the pick onto Yusuf. The sound barrier wasn't even enough to save him there. And Agreed is just going to make the space for his team. The rest of Z9 is just going to back off here, cut their losses short. Aggro Node manages to get picked up, but it's okay. They lost the team fight anyways. They're just going to back up here before they take the point to get a bad spawn.
Now, you see what Z9 is doing right there. The moment there was one pick, they came.
Looks like the Shatter manages to come in here. Agreed drops. Yusuf returning to the fight valiantly. A lot of ults being used here. Yagbag still going to have that Graviton online for the next fight. Giving Yusuf yet another Shatter. Just going to get a huge Stagger onto.
And, you know, just like I was talking about it beforehand, you know, Z9 did a very well job. They identified their reset call. The moment Yusuf died, they reset. They hard reset. And Hangzhou Bark just should have done the same thing. After that one huge EMP, they should not have blown any ultimate. Let them kill themselves, and then just come back with just a greater ultimate advantage.
And a huge aggression from Yusuf there. Finds yet another pick onto Agreed. And they're just going to roll them over once again. You know, if you're going to have the enemy team aggressing you like that, you're going to need an answer for it. You can't just let them do that to you. You're going to get ult charge, and they're going to be able to be stronger next fight. Agreed coming into this next fight with an Earth Shatter. Meanwhile, Yusuf is only at 75%. Reality is super close to his EMP here. If I was Hangzhou Bark, I'd make sure that the support line wasn't caught up in that. Yagbag still has that Graviton online. When is he going to use it? It comes out right now. Yusuf is going to be able to try to block the Shatter, but the huge EMP comes out, and another huge Shatter comes out. He's going to get the pin. He's going to take them off the map, himself off the map. Wasn't necessarily the best call. The spawn room was right there for Hangzhou Bark, and You know, it means that they're gonna be able, they might be able to regroup here before Yusef rejoins the rest of Z9. He's actually gonna switch over to the Hammond. It's a very final team fight, and it looks like Hangzhou Bark is not gonna be able to take this. Just gag bag, high energy just melted whoever decides to step foot onto the cart, and Little Pants falls at the hands of it.
Now, I think a lot of it comes from team coordination. You just really have to identify a target and just hunt it down as a team if you're going to go against the goats. And the main key target, obviously Reinhardt, you have to kill Reinhardt in a goat. But other than that, the main damage of a goat, it's Zarya. And Gagbag has just been insane in this Zarya with this huge amount of charge. He's just inputting so much damage. Such a big threat. They need to identify him, call out his bubbles. Whenever there's the bubbles, personal bubbles go off, they need to initiate and, kill him. Another target they need to focus is their Zen. Their Zen is also doing so much damage with those Discord O's. So, just team coordination when it comes to selecting targets and focus firing. They need to focus fire at this point. Since you can outscout the Sombra, you might as well kill everything before the Sombra builds an ult off of you.
Yeah, it's really important also to make sure that the support line isn't caught up in that EMP. Maybe they should do a bit of hiding so that the walls protect them from the EMP and they can just pop out the corner with the support ult, the sound barrier, transcendence, maybe even rally, and it could just shut down the EMP. It's it doesn't necessarily counter an EMP, however, it kind of balances it out. Now, if I was Hangzhou Bark, it's going to be really crucial to hold here. They have to use everything in there, or everything that they can, honestly. It looks like they're going to go for it immediately by having Rectophobia on the hog, just trying to get the environmental kills. And they're going to take the fight really early, actually really close to spawn. Gagbag is going to not find anything with the charge, but he's going to get it there. He's going to start swinging a lot. Gagbag's actually on the Rhine, in fact. Didn't notice that until now. And it looks like Hedwig and is going to fall off the map or lead himself to his own demise. Meanwhile, Z9 is just going to continue pushing the cart.
Now, that strategy is very well. If you could actually pull it off. Now, the key to this strategy is you have to get a kill at the beginning of the map. The reason why you hold that close is you get a pick and just make them reset and just make them go to the spawn, and then after that you build some ultimates and you just hold back and just keep farming ultimates. But since they couldn't get a crucial pick into the Z9 from the team Z9, they kind of just fed and just gave up the point itself.
This is a disgusting amount of aggression here. Reality finding so much value. He's finding hammer kills. He's actually just killing anything he sees, honestly. Don't underestimate the dwarf from Sweden. And they're gonna take him to the spawn. They're not even capping the point yet. They're just gonna go for kills. Is this a watch or is this team deathmatch?
Now, they're having some fun here, but this is very painful to watch. But they really were just memeing this at this point, putting Gagbag onto the Ryan, but he's doing so good. Might as well swap out Yusuf for him.
It's a bit of a role reversal here. They're not even caring about the point. They're just trying to disrespect them as much as possible. Take them to their spawn. Is it gonna backfire here? Gagbag goes down. Hedwig manages to find the pick onto Quetzal, and it's actually 2 up here. They're not going to be able to cap the point just yet because they decided to taunt them in their spawn. For Reality, finding the pick onto Little Pants in a solo grab effort there. He's going to find his ult charge, but he's going to get tracked down there by Agreed. And will they actually go to a more serious team comp, or are they just going to continue with this?
Well, Gagbag does have the shatter, so you want to hold on to his shatter and maybe get something. And Reality almost has Molten Core, which is actually a very good ultimate if you could put it into a shatter. Just everybody's on the floor, just throw the ultimate right there, make a lava mat, and just burn everybody down.
Yeah, Gagbag is gonna run into this fight here with the shatter. Agreed also has a shatter, gets pooped around a bit. Huge stun by Agreed, finds 2, but an even bigger stun by Gagbag, finds 3, and it looks like the kills are just coming in for Z9, and they're going to be able to push this point. Are they going to continue pushing the point this time, or are they going to go back to the spawn?
Well, Z9, your coach, you're watching this right now, might as well put Gagbag. This guy is insane on Reinhardt, might as well put him on for the role of main tank.
Gagbag, world's best Ryan right here. It's proven. You see right here, Z9 4-0 right now.
Now, what do you have to say about this? Obviously, a lot of people predicted that it'll be a kind of a role for Z9 here, even though they're like the fan favorites here. But what do you really think went well for them, and what they need to fix at this point?
Okay, 3 words. Reality on Torb. He's clearly the carry pick here. But I guess in all seriousness, Z9's advantage of the having the Sombra, being able to go in and shut down all their abilities for 6 seconds. What can Hangzhou Bark do about that if one of their key members gets kind of isolated and rendered useless for 6 seconds?
I mean, I kept repeating one thing over and over again, and I really sound like a broken record when I say teams need to do more scouting. Scouting is such an important ability to have as a team when you could identify routes of team and where they're positioning at and all tracking somebody. Okay. So we will be picking, a person to interview as always. So we're going to be looking forward to getting the coach for Z9. We want to know what's going on inside the team.
We may also get a bit of a player interview. And we actually want to get a bit of an inside view of what was going on here. From both sides actually. Maybe let's see. We might be able to see what reality did that worked so well on Sombra. I need to know that. I'm trying to climb in my ranks here.
Okay, so do you guys want to get Meek, it sounded like, or reality?
I
can
we'll be going with the coach. Let's see what. I really want to know what's going on inside the team.
Yeah, we're trying to see exactly what the coach decided. If they decided to play around reality, they decided to go for the summer pick, or if they saw what was already in front of them and just kind of focus hard on that.
Yeah, right, I'm asking him right now.
It's it's really crucial when you run a Sombra composition to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Discipline, because Sombra compositions could get really out of hand if the Sombra is not in sync with the team, if the team is not speed boosting into the other team at the right moment, if the Sombra is not hacking the key characters or the key heroes from the opponent team at the right time, it could really throw off the composition itself. So I really liked what I seen from Z9 coming into this week. They definitely seemed more disciplined, more as a team, where it's not like Yusuf is just going in by himself and nobody just supporting him with any resource.
Yeah, they were much more of a well-oiled machine this time around. Last match I saw, Easy Clap was actually doing a good job of exploiting Yusuf's aggression there. And it seems that they learned from their mistakes, they licked their wounds, and they came back stronger than they were before.
And as for Hangzhou Bark, they did a very good job of running goats head to head, especially when it came to building those diva bombs. The diva bombs were amazing from Hangzhou Bark. So maybe start playing around it more. Do some more work around the diva bombs and get more grabs. Maybe the Reinhardt could try to look for some key pins into the guy, so the diva bombs are huger. But as a team, they just need to communicate more and just focus fire more. And my own advice would be not just for Hangzhou Bark, just for every team out there, scout more, let your teammates know the positioning of the enemies, call it out, and take advantage of that.
Actually, I didn't see as much grab bomb combos as I would have liked. And if they're not going to use the grab and the bomb to combo and get a team wipe, then maybe, possibly do what we see NYXL and other teams do in the Overwatch League and invest the grab for the Sombra. And that way, Sombra won't be able to translocate out of a grab after the patch that they changed the grab so that you can't use movement abilities once you're in the grab. So, being able to grab the Sombra and take her out of the fight, even if it's a solo grab, is going to be so huge because a 65 fight is, 9 times out of 10 just going to be really easy.
Now we're just waiting for one of our key interviewers to come through. We're waiting for the coach for Z9 if we could get him. If not, we will be moving on to one of the star players, Use of Reality or Eggroll Nerd.
Okay.
Yeah, reality might be really interesting to watch.
I'm sorry. Is
I haven't been able to get in touch with Meek, so you want
Okay,
to get reality
no
instead?
problem. Let's just use reality.
All right, I'm gonna get him in here.
We're gonna get reality in here, get a bit of an inside view here of the star Sombra player, the Mr. Hack and Slash himself.
What a game was that?
Yeah, it was quite a game, really entertaining. It seemed a bit one-sided at points, but all of the team fights were actually really entertaining. A spectacular performance from both Hangzhou Bark and Z9.
Now, chat, we need the real vote. Can we switch Yusuf and
And Gagbag is main tank, and we get to see more Torb comps from reality.
come on?
All
Come
right,
on.
here's reality.
And
Hey,
we actually have
hey,
reality. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, baby?
How are you doing? First of all, congratulations on the
Thank
win.
you.
A lot
Thank
of people,
you.
predicted
Doubted
you guys
that.
would roll them, but I really want to know what did you guys look after? After the last week's matches, what
Well-
went through when you guys reviewed the VOD?
When we have like the best, me, but we were all playing on laptops last week. I was sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground.
That's an interesting setup.
So I was at my computer this time, and I kind of gave it to him.
Is that so you playing on your computer just means the automatic win?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
How about the team itself? Any strategies you came up with? Any VOD reviews?
Sombra Goats.
Sombra Goats. Okay, so now when you're playing Sombra Goat, what are your key targets, or what are your goals as a team
Getting-
that you want to accomplish?
Big hacks on Reinhardt can lead to big things.
Okay.
Getting EMPs and not wasting ult new EMP is pretty good.
Are there other insider Sombra tips so maybe I can be good and climb?
Try to get big hacks on a Reinhardt and try to EMP as fast as possible.
Okay. Also, when you're on Sombra, what are some things to watch out for?
Shield bash, Discord,
Definitely
right clicks.
one of the biggest stunts in the game to just shut you down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got our interview. We have our winner for this week's League Zeroes match for advanced teams. Z9 versus Hangzhou Bark. Z9 coming up clutch and getting that huge win.
Once
Wait,
again,
I say
congratulations,
something?
reality, on your performance out there.
Thing. Did you see my Torb hammer kills?
Yeah, actually, why aren't you playing more Torb?
Well, I had to pull it out for that little niche pick. I had to pull it out in the payload.
No, you guys need to practice it for the last moment.
I got you.
To see.
Hey, catch on
Torb.
Nepal. Wait, is Nepal a map on League Zero?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you play Nepal on League Zero?
I believe none. You could always go to the pinned messages from the league announcement and see the map roster.
If
So-
there's
Not this
Nepal, I'll go
stage.
Torb.
Okay, so guys, we'll be ending the stream right here. Have a good day. And what do you want to say?
Maybe can we get Agreed in here? I also want to get a bit of his perspective.
Agreed. Let me find him.
It would be interesting to see two teams. See Agree's perspective, what he has to say in this match, and we could maybe ask him how they're looking forward to answering this Sombra, because this Sombra needs to be answered, and it needs to happen fast. Because if they go against Z9 again, I don't think they could handle the Sombra the way they played today.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see here how teams kind of learn from what didn't work and what did work. And Agreed was kind of being on the main tank means he was the prime target for the hack, as we just had reality say. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be really interesting to see.
We got Agreed. Fair warning, he memes as much as he breathes. So, good luck.
How's it going, Agreed? By the way, I did like your performance out there.
Thank you. So, I came for interview/questions.
Well, yeah, we have some questions for you. Now, as a main tank, you were the primary target for the Sombra. How do you come back from this match? What are the key points that you take out from this match to actually counter the Sombra goats?
Well, that's a good question. As a Ryan, all you have to do is just kind of turn your shield to her. But then again, it's a kind of a distraction, and plus you lose a lot of health when you like try to turn to her. A lot of the time, Sombra is not that hard to counter. It's more just of a distraction than anything. It's not. It's not the main point. A lot of the time, if you just focus there, Ryan, and just keep going, and just don't let the Sombra really feed off you, you're able to kind of just go in. They're all
Okay.
think to help with that.
Also, I wanted to know, how were you? What was the plans going to many of these team fights? Were you aware of the Sombra? Were you giving her the respect that she may deserve? Were you aware of when she had EMP or not?
Most of the time, yeah, we called that out, but it was more of the thing that we couldn't do anything about it, and then we were just kind of standing there. Like it was just a thing we couldn't really do anything because if we got EMP'd, we were just kind of just like sitting there with maybe no support ults, maybe one, and that one would be beat, and we just wait. Like it was just a really bad situation for us at least.
Okay. Also, just final question: How do you think you're gonna fare if you had a rematch against Z9, maybe in a week or two time?
I'd probably fucking roll them to be honest.
Okay, a lot of aggression and a lot of, you know,
A lot of spice.
a lot of spice coming into this. But we'll be taking this away, and just close off the stream right here. Everybody's tired here. They've seen a great match, and I can't wait to cast more upcoming games from these teams. They're looking very well oiled, especially the teams. They're looking forward to taking this victory for this advanced matches. So, good night, guys, and have a blessed day.
But